I did my project on biotechnology and artificial cloning. In 1996, at the Roslin Institute in Scotland, a professor by the name of Sir Ian Wilmot led a team of professionals that successfully carried out the complete cloning of a mammal. Dolly the sheep started as a cell taken from the mammary gland of an adult sheep, hence the name Dolly after Dolly Parton, and was successfully cloned and birthed. Unfortunately, she had to be euthanized at the age of 6 due to lung cancer, which is about half the age of what the average sheep can live to. The cloning of Dolly the sheep started a wave in biotechnology and research into the field of animal cloning. And while the science behind cloning is still a work in progress, the potential beneficial impact led by cloning opens the doors to many exciting improvements to our future lives. So what is animal cloning? So animal cloning is often used in reference to artificial cloning, which is the reproduction of animal cells that are not from cloning due to natural means, like twins. So the adult female gives birth to an animal that has the genetic makeup from the somatic cell donor. Reproductive cloning requires a surrogate mother to allow development of the embryo, which was what they did in the case of Dolly the sheep. Along with cloning whole animals, researchers can also clone things like viruses and bacteria and even specific parts of DNA for research. So when it comes to the cloning procedure, the simple version is they take an egg, remove the nucleus, combine it with the donor cell, implant it into the foster mother, and then you'll have clones. So what are the benefits of cloning? So the safe cloning of animals has the ability to restore ecosystems, improve food chain supplies and farming, and expand our research. Restoring ecosystems. As the human population has grown and expanded, ecosystems and habitats have shrank and depleted. Not only have hundreds of thousands of miles of rainforest been erased, animal extinction and endangerment has caused the loss of many species. With the loss of these many species, it has allowed an overrunning of others. With about 16,300 species currently on the endangered list, there's no doubt that the balance of the environment is off. Cloning of these animals on the endangered list can help regrow populations. It's still a widely debated idea, but researchers remain optimistic that cloning will become a useful tool for conservation in time. They have already successfully cloned wild mammals using closely related domestic ones. So along with regrowing the populations of these endangered species, but we have to control overpopulation as well. So areas across the globe have run into cases of overpopulation of certain species due to a decrease in natural predators, and unfortunately this is usually from negative human intervention. So these predators control the populations of their prey, but in result impact bug and plant populations as well. So a quote from a UMass blog about repopulating our ecosystems says that the reintroduction of predators into their former habitats does impact the system as a whole. So they found that reintroduction of the gray wolf into Yellowstone National Park caused Rocky Mountain elk to change their grazing patterns, which affected thin-leaf alder populations. This is an example of a trophic cascade. The increase of the wolf populations caused an increase in the thin-leaf alder populations. So by changing the elk grazing patterns, this plant was allowed to flourish and to repopulate. Farming. So as Americans, we spend almost $200 a week on food alone. And when it comes to big money and big business, the first thing that I think of definitely isn't farming. Cloning has the ability to change that. By using cloning, farmers will be able to know exactly the amount, quality, and success of their breeding. Currently, right now, being a farmer is a huge gamble. It's impossible to know if the meat that will be produced will make enough money to match the money that was spent. Farmers would be able to clone the best animals in their herd and then use those for sexual reproduction. It will increase the size and quality of their herd. So imagine if a farmer had a bull that produced calves that matured quickly and provided low fat ratio meat. A farmer could clone that bull and be able to produce more of those calves. When it comes to introducing genetically modified organisms like this into farming, a major concern that people have is it truly safe? And according to the FDA, there was a study that was done by top-tier selected scientists from across the country that reportedly stated that theoretically there were no concerns for the safety of meat or milk from clones from the ones that they have tested. Medical research. So the cloning of animals is the gateway to curing the incurable. When it comes to cloning, the entire animal doesn't have to be cloned. Cloning specific parts of the body, whether it's whole organs or even just cells, allows for research and medical testing without the need of animal testing. Being able to grow parts that need to be tested, there would no longer be a need for lab animals. And cloning can also change the way we do transplants. Animal cloning technology is improving every day. There's a future not too far from when we'll be able to clone body parts for people using their DNA, reducing the risk of rejection. When a foreign cell gets introduced to the body that it doesn't recognize, the body's defenses attack and kill it. This is great when it comes to viruses and bacteria, but causes problems in the case of transplants. The body's defense mechanism attacks and destroys the transplant, but genetic modification can be used to disguise an animal's cell and organs and thereby reduce or even eliminate rejection. So overall, there is still a lot of progress to be made when it comes to animal cloning. Unfortunately, there is such a controversial topic right now in science, and there's still a great amount of negative stigma. But I think with the proper time, the potential that biotechnology and animal cloning has is that of the unimaginable. Whether it's restoring our ecosystems, improving food and farming, or opening the doors to medical advancement, animal cloning has more benefits than most realize.